We need an outpour of your spirit. We need an outpour of your spirit, Lord. Send it down. Good morning. Send it down. We need it. We need it, Lord. Oh, yeah. We need an outpour of your spirit. We need an outpour of your spirit, Lord. Send it down. Send it down. We need it. We need it, Lord.
You on that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my bad.
That's all right. We need an outpour of your spirit. Oh, we need an outpour of your spirit, Lord. Send it down. Send it down. We need it. We need it, Lord. Good morning, those that are coming in. We need an outpour of your spirit. We need an outpour of your spirit, Lord. Send it down. Send it down. We need it. We need it, Lord. We need an outpour of your spirit. We need an outpour of your spirit, Lord. Send it down. Send it down. We need it. We need it, Lord. Well, good morning, beautiful people. It's your girl, Bev. This is Saturday, June the 4th, 2022. It is a lovely day here in the state of North Carolina. And it is an honor and a privilege to be alive today. For those that are just tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining the Flower Bev Show. For those of you that are returning, thank you for coming back again to join me on my show. Good morning, Sister Nakia. Rise and shine. You right about that. And I just want to reiterate that this is a show for butterfly mentality. I do believe in showing the best of every negative situation and trying to give people solutions and help on how to think better about their present caterpillar struggles. This life can be hard, this life can be tough, but if you continue to dwell on the things that are tough and the things that are hard without changing your mindset, you'll find yourself in a dark tunnel that you really can't find your way out of. So I try to give people insight on ways to think better, even though their life may not feel its best. Today, I wanted to let me see, shed light on a few things. I know last week we talked about racism, and then we mentioned a few other things in the first Black terminology that they use, the first Black person to do XYZ. We are going to continue that in the future, broadcast. I have yet to set that date, but we will do that soon, God willing. I also will keep in mind about the extrovert versus introvert. But today I wanted to shed light on the good that we have accomplished so far this year and even the bad that has happened, but at the same time, looking for ways that we could reevaluate ourselves. So first things first, I called this the mid-year evaluation because think about it. We go through a whole year. We set goals at the beginning of the year of what we want to accomplish. We talk about the things that we want to do. And we also want to acknowledge what more we need to do or the things that we need to stop doing because they're not beneficial to the things that we said we wanted to do. Or those things that we said we wanted to do, we no longer need to do because we see that it's not good for us to do. All those things. So everybody knows that when you're on a job, working at a job, working for a company, they do evaluations on you. At least in my line of work, they do. In the medical field, they do evaluations on you. They let you know how good you're doing 3 months in, 6 months in, a year in, and then after that, it becomes an annual thing. Well, sometimes we just do the beginning of the year where we look at, everything, and then we do the end of the year where we look at the whole year. Well, let's do a mid-year evaluation. It's the midpoint to see where we have come, how far we have come, and how far we have to go in order to accomplish any goals in our lives that we are trying to accomplish. So if you think about it, what have you said to yourself that you wanted to do or said to somebody else you wanted to do this year that you have actually done or has actually happened or you've actually made steps in making it happen? What are some things that have popped up out of nowhere that you said, maybe I should do this instead? Good morning to those that are just coming in. We're talking about mid-year evaluation. So basically evaluating our year thus far and seeing how far we've come, things we could work on, things we could change, things we can continue in and be consistent and strong in at the same time. So what are some things, and just asking yourself this, you don't have to put anything in the comment section, but just asking yourself, good morning, Sister Rochelle. Just asking yourself, what is it that I have done so far this year that I actually wanted to do? What are some things that I'm still looking forward to doing? Because the year is not over yet, but maybe you got to go back to the drawing board at the middle of the year. Like I'll give it myself for an example. I said I wanted to do more events where I am doing my public speaking. Well, guess what? I have just scheduled a public speaking event for them in the month of September. So I'm actually, God willing, I'm going to be a speaker at an event. I will give more details after it happens, God willing. But I'm excited because I said I wanted to step out as a motivational speaker, and I did just that. And I also wanted to start booking things for myself. So I'm actually doing just that. So that's a positive thing. Something else that I said I wanted to do by this time, I have not done. And let me see. Okay, so Zania, she says, my desire was always wanted to learn how to sew, and I'm getting great at it. And now I am working to become my own boss and also working on my business. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. A mid-year evaluation is so important. It's so important. So Zanakia says, we talked about debt, paying them off. So glad about that. Exactly. So it's the mid-year evaluation is a year to, it's the middle of the year to be able to say, okay, how far have I come? How much further do I need to go? And to see yourself making progress, that's a really good thing. There's something that I've been dealing with specifically, personally, and I am truly happy to say that I see progress in that thing. Like I see progress in something that I was struggling with and dealing with, and I actually see progress in that. I mean, I can't find another reason to say another way to say how happy I am to see myself progressing so far this year in this certain situation that I've been dealing with. That I'm not going to expound on because it's something rather personal to my heart that I really have to keep going to God about. But to see certain progress in myself, certain growth in myself within this year, man, I'm like blown away sometimes because sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. So a mid-year evaluation is always good. It shouldn't take 12 months to go by for us to say, okay, I accomplished this, I accomplished that. Man, I didn't do good on this, I didn't do good on that. Let's start over. No, use June to reevaluate yourself. Like I've been budgeting my money and trying to spend it more wisely and things like that. But I noticed that I'm like, oh, hold on, we got to go back. We got to go back to where you need. I got a raise since the beginning of the year. I got a raise in the last month. So I'm like, okay, well, now I need to evaluate my money again, see how much more I can save, see how much more I need to set aside for this or set aside for that. You know, the bills haven't changed. They're still the same. So how much more money can I save since I got the raise? You know, what else can I do with my money? So I have to reevaluate myself and reevaluate my spending and reevaluate my savings. So I have been cooking a lot more. There are times when I cook a lot, and there are times when I go like a month ago and I'm just buying food because I don't feel like cooking all the time. But I realize that I'm trying more recipes and I'm finding myself, you know, like, man, like I really like this. Well, I really like that. I didn't even think I would like this, but I actually like that. So it's like introducing myself to more things and to more foods and getting more comfortable with stepping outside of just my Alfredo because I love Alfredo. But I realized that, you know, my taste buds are expanding and certain things taste better at certain times, certain seasons. You know, you're not going to be eating a whole bunch of soup during the hot summer times. No, you may eat something that's a little more cold or, you know, maybe made like certain sandwiches during the summertime, you know, certain cold sandwiches. But if you're in the wintertime, you may like soup. You may like your food to be more warm, more hot, things like that. I tend to eat a lot of, like, I'll eat pizza cold. I'll eat chicken cold. I'll eat certain stuff cold because it's hot outside. Like I don't really care if certain foods get cold because that's just something that I do. Like that's just me. I'm a little weird, I guess. But anyway, just evaluating just certain things that I've been trying to do better, taking care of myself, making sure I take my vitamins, and I need to do better with drinking water. I'm gonna be honest, but I that's why the reevaluation process is so important because you're able to see what you can do better on and what you have been doing better on, and or what you need to let go of. You know, even certain things like forgiveness or certain things like forgiving yourself or being more understanding towards people, being less judgmental, you know, towards yourself, towards other people. Now, you do have to judge yourself in things and keep the judgment light on yourself, but don't be so hard on yourself and give yourself grace because the way you treat yourself is the way you're going to treat other people. So think about that. If you've always had a hard time forgiving yourself and, you know, always being really hard on yourself, then that's why you're hard on other people. That's why you're so quick to judge other people because, you know, when you mess up, you don't even give yourself grace. So why would you give somebody else grace, right? So you got to judge yourself on how you can just breathe and let people be imperfect. You got to start with yourself. The next 6 months, I got to start with me and say, okay, Bev, just breathe. Like, you're imperfect. That person is imperfect. They messed up. Guess what? You do too. Oh my gosh, show a little more grace to you. You show a little more grace to them. So it's really, and I'm not saying that's something that I have to deal with, but even if it is, that's still something to think about. So what else? Like, what are some things that, yes, sis, let me see. Sister Nakia says, oops, wait, I'm clicking the wrong. There we go. Yes, that's good. I want to learn how to do that, sis. Yes. And sewing is like therapeutic. Whenever I have sewn in the past and I've made things that I've worn, it is very therapeutic and it is a very good skill to have. You like, I mean, me hemming one of my skirts or turning something that was one way into another way is something that I do as well. That I have done before as well. Maybe I've turned a dress into a skirt, you know, things like that. Or if I find like baggy pants that's supposed to be made for women, I have changed those into an actual skirt as well. So It's just certain things, that sewing can teach you, how to be creative and how to, make head coverings and things like that. Let me see. Greetings, Sister Melissa. Good morning. Let me see. I'm actually sewing a dress for my daughter dance tonight. I will post later. Oh, and I'm pretty sure that makes you feel really special that you can make something that your daughter can actually wear. I think that's really nice because it also can save money. I mean, you can buy a yard of fabric for like $2 with some change, and then you buy 2 yards, or if you need 3 yards, that's like what, $6, maybe $8. By the time you do taxes, and then you just buy the thread, you sew it. That's very much way more cheaper than buying a $40 skirt that you can purchase, at a store, and you can actually buy your own thing. So I think that's a really good skill to have. And I think that's a really good thing that you're actually seeing your progress and seeing your growth in it, because it is a really good, important skill to have, especially with everything going up nowadays. And you really can't find much out there for yourself to wear that's appropriate and modest enough. Yes, alteration for Brielle graduation dress was $70. See, you can save money. You can save money, honey. And that's a really, really good thing. Good morning to those that are just coming in. We're talking about I call it mid-year evaluation. And I want everybody to take their time and even set out time for maybe in the next few days to sit down and evaluate where you have been. Evaluate where you've been this year and how has this year been for you so far. What are some things you see yourself getting better at? What are some things you see yourself not doing so well in that you want to do better in? You still got time. If it be the Lord's will, you got 6 more months to make a change within this year so that you can see growth for the next year. And your present condition is not your future if you work hard at it and be consistent, because you are truly someone that matters. And you have to look at yourself as that, and you have to see yourself as someone that can actually go forward, even when they don't feel like they can go forward. So I would say, to literally do what you need to do for yourself and evaluate that. Don't evaluate anybody else. Don't take the time out to evaluate who's growing and who's not. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Well, I said I want to do this, and they said they want to do the same thing, and they're doing a lot better than me. Their growth is not your growth. Their progress is not your progress. And there's a reason why they could be progressing in the way that they are. Maybe they believe it. They believe that they can do better. Maybe you don't believe it as much as you should, but who's to say that you have to judge them and compare yourself? That's a joy kill. Examine yourself. Maybe you can ask them for tips. Hey, you said, I said I wanted to eat better and I'm not really having a good time doing it, but you seem like you're having a good time. How do you do this? How do you eat better? How do you do this? How do you do that? And when you ask them and they give you the answer, then leave it at that. Don't try to compare, okay, well, I'm going to do the exact same thing they did. And if it don't work for me, then I don't know what. No, you're a different person. You can get advice from people, but it may not work out the way that in your life, the way that you would want it to, versus in their lives, the way that they have it working out. So never judge anyone else's progress, and look at them and see what you are doing and compare yourself with them. I'm telling you, comparison is a joy kill. It's a joy kill. So do not look at anybody else to compare yourself with them. Everybody is different in their own way, and we have similarities, but we are not equivalent to each other as far as personality, character, size, weight, height, nothing, vision, everything. Somebody may have, they may have the same vision as me. Somebody may have astigmatism, but my astigmatism may be a little worse than theirs, or theirs may be a little bit worse than mine. I may put on their glasses and might be able to see. They may put on mine and like, woo, girl, I can't see nothing out of your glasses. So it's like, you can't compare yourself to other people. You will drag yourself through the mud with that. Right. Don't even look at nobody else's life, period. Exactly. Nobody else's life. Your life and their life is two totally different aspects. You have your own goals. Even if, my goal may be to open, my own business. Okay. All right. Y'all know my business is, because I put it out there. I want to be a public speaker, things like that. Somebody else may come along and have the exact same thing. I can't look at them and say, well, what they doing? what they doing. No, let's collaborate. Hey, sis, hey, bro, like you want to be a public speaker too? Okay, well, let's collaborate. Let's figure out what can we talk about. Maybe we can come together as a duo and actually, talk about different subjects and open up our world more broadly and reach a bigger audience. Like you never know what you can accomplish, but you cannot compare yourself and say, I want to do what they doing or they're doing what I'm doing and I don't like the way they doing it or blah, blah, blah. No, none of that, none of that, none of that. Focus on you. What do you want to do? What do you want your life to look like at the end of this year? What do you want your life to look at the end of this month, at the end of this day, at the end of this week? What do you want your life to be? And if you can know what that is, learn what that is, then you take the time out to do that and get better and figure it out for yourself. And go to people for help when you need that help, not because you want to figure out what somebody else is doing so you can see what you got to do in order to be what they are. You want to be able to keep your blinders on. Like my prayer is to always keep my blinders on, not in the sense of, oh, I don't really care about nobody, but in the sense of I don't care what no one else is doing. This is my life. This is what I got to do. These are my goals. These are my dreams. I don't need anybody's validation. Me and God. It's just me and him. When it comes down to what it is that I need to do, I'm like, Lord, what do you see that I need to do? And show me that thing and then give me wisdom on how to carry it out. If it's not going to destroy me. But if it's going to destroy me, don't even send me down that road. And it's just as simple as that. Progression is individualized. And being inspired by people is beautiful. No contentions. Exactly. You can be inspired by someone, but not necessarily try to compare in a sense of, oh, they're further than me, or, in a negative aspect. You always want to think positive. You can, and I know people that have told me, Bev, you make life look, how does someone say? I forgot. They said, you make life look easy. Like you make carrying burdens look easy. And I will admit that I may come across as someone that's always happy, but I am not. Okay. And I go through stuff too, but I do know that God gave me a certain type of personality that I choose to find the good in even the most simplest, darkest situations. I choose that because I've always been a happy-go-lucky, happy type person. So I never want to look at, my problems through the lens of someone else. Someone else may have the exact same problem I have, but I don't want to look at them and say, well, maybe I should feel the way they feel, or maybe they should feel the way that I feel. They have their feelings about it. I have my feelings about it. These are my feelings, and I choose to be happy about them and choose not to allow anyone to make me feel bad about feeling happy, even though I'm going through a certain situation. So you really have to understand that you can look at somebody being joyful or being excited about, life, even though they're going through, be inspired by that, but never ever look at it as a way of, man, like I wish that was okay. You may wish that was you in a sense, and I can understand that, like wishing you can handle life better. I get that too, but not raining on their parade is what I'm trying to say. Don't rain on their parade because they're actually choosing life in a positive manner. Find out what it is that's keeping you from choosing to look at life in a positive manner and see what you can do to change your mindset to say to yourself, okay, you know what? It's not as bad as it seems. You know what? I'm going to be okay. It's that self-talk. That self-talk means a lot. And sometimes you don't even have to talk to yourself. You just have to know within yourself and believe that it's going to be okay. I don't have to sit there every single time I'm going through something and look in the mirror and say, "Babe, it's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. He got you." I don't have to do that all the time. Just a thought. It's a thought of knowing that everything is not as bad as it seems. It's the thought of knowing that this is not the end all be all. It's the thought of knowing that this is teaching me something and I should not worry about how it makes me feel, but I should look to what is going to make me become. What am I learning from this? So, okay, I've set goals, and now I'm being hindered on one of those goals. Instead of me saying, why me? Why can't this stuff just be so simple? Why can't it just be so easy? I have to look at it and say, okay, these hindrances are going to come the whole time you're trying to reach a goal. Nothing in life is going to be smooth sailing. And if it is, that's great for you. But there are a lot of things in life that we're going to go through simply because we're trying to do something good. Not even because we've done anything bad, but simply because we're trying to do something good. So here it is, I set a goal to own my own business. It's not going to be black and white all the time. It's going to be some gray areas in there that I got to sort through and figure it out. And I'm going to have to go to someone and say, hey, when you reach this, what did you do? And it may work for you and it may not work for you, but you at least got to try some sort of a solution. And so I can't look at, every single thing as, man, like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why not me? And what am I going to do about it? And how am I going to get through it? And what is my mindset as I'm getting through it? And I think when we change our mindsets, we may not be where we want to be, but we can always be we are always where we should be. And I think when you have that in your mind, that gives you peace. Nothing happens by chance. Like, everything happens for a reason. Even the stuff that people hate you for no reason, that happens for a reason. That teaches you that people will hate you for no reason. So it's something to teach you. Like, even though somebody don't have nothing good to say about you, they could treat you in a bad way. In your mind, you're like, why in the world is this happening? Hi, Aiden, my nephew. Hi, Asher. That's my nephew. And so basically, I didn't made me lose my train of thought. I love that little boy. Hi, Aiden, Waden. But nothing happens by chance. Even though somebody hates you for no reason, and you're saying to yourself, like, I didn't do anything, it still is a chance for you to gain strength, to allow it to roll off your back, because you're innocent. You haven't done anything wrong. So that right there could show you, or maybe you react to it in a way you shouldn't. Maybe you react to it in a way that really you don't have to react to it. So if you find yourself, reacting to these things, you got to take a step back and say, you know what? I didn't do anything to this person. I didn't treat them badly, didn't treat them wrongfully. I don't know why this happened to me. They treated me bad, but okay, let me do something better for myself. Let me just keep it moving, because I know I'm innocent. It's just like somebody lying on you. You didn't say anything. You didn't do anything wrong. You're trying to figure out what the world's going on. Why they're trying to say you're this, you're that, and they don't even know you. Instead of you getting all bent out of shape about it, you have to look at it and say, you know what? This is teaching me who I am as a person. And this is showing me what I need to work on. So, or if I'm good and I need to keep this up. So sometimes you can be good. You're like, you know what? Well, they don't really know me. So, okay. You don't lose no sleep over it. But if you realize that you're losing sleep over what somebody has said or done or treated you in a way, you're like, okay, you know what? I got to shape up, because clearly I'm letting this get the best of me. And it ain't even that type of deal. It's not even that serious. So you really got to think about it and say, let me take myself out of this situation. Let me put myself in a better headspace. And it's just something for you to work on, and I feel like with mid-year evaluations, it allows you to really sit back in the middle of the year at a random time and just say, you know what, where am I at in life? What have I accomplished so far in this year? Don't even think back too far unless you're still trying to accomplish things from 2019. Then you got to ask yourself, okay, now I've been in this circle for 2 years. What am I going to do now that I can accomplish this by the end of 2022? Set a goal. I want to accomplish this by this time. And it may have to be modified, but at least you're setting a goal and then make steps to reach that goal. If you're always upset about this one thing and you realize you no longer want to be upset when this happens, okay, make up in your mind, all right, so I'm going to give myself 6 months to try to change the way I look at this thing. And that's not going to say that it's going to happen in 6 months, but you're giving yourself time to say, okay, I'm going to work on this really diligently for these 6 months and see where I am at the end of the 6 months. How about that? So when you do that, you give yourself time, but also give yourself grace that if you don't see that much progress within 6 months, okay, well, let me give myself a little bit more time. And just, and that way you can really like, oh, let me work a little bit harder on this thing so that I can see more progress in the next 6 months. So I feel like having a mid-year evaluation, having time to yourself, just you. Maybe you can sit down with your family and say, okay, y'all, what have we done within these past 6 months? as a family. I mean, it's not even just you. If you're an owner of your own company, sit down with those, how they do on the job. Sit down. Okay, y'all, what have we done in these 6 months? What can we do better in the next 6 months? What are some things that we need to shape up on and mean it? Because y'all know how it is. You work for a company, they come to you, they say, what can we do better? Okay, are you really looking for a solution, or you just want me to say what's on my mind and you ain't going to do nothing about it? Because that is very much possible. They will do that. They will pull out okay, we've heard your complaints, we've done this, we're going to try our best to do better in these areas. And then nothing gets done because they really didn't care. They just wanted you to feel like something was going to happen, but they weren't intending on making anything happen. So, sit down with your family, sit down with your friends. Okay, this is our friendship. What have we done in these 6 months as a friend? Have we even took a trip together? What have we done? Have we went out to eat? Have we went to the beach for one day? Have we done anything? Have we talked? How much times have we talked on the phone? We've texted a lot. Have we talked on the phone with each other? Like evaluating those relationships as a parent. It's really good. Not that I'm a parent, but I think it's really good for each parent to be able to say to that child, okay, this is the 6th month. What has transpired in the 6 months that have hurt you? What has been going on in school? How was your school year? How did you end your school year? Oh, if there's anything you could do differently, what would you have done this year? Just basically opening up the conversation to let them know, like, we're going to evaluate our lives and ourselves. And when you're teaching your kids to have evaluations, and what has made you mad this year that you don't want to make you mad next year? What class have you not done good in that you want to do better in? When you teach them to evaluate themselves and evaluate their lives, then they'll be able to do that as adults. They'll be able to incorporate that in their lives and say, you know what? My teacher said XYZ, and it really made me upset, and it really made me feel like XYZ, but I understand why she said what she said, or I understand that what she said was out of ignorance, or I understand that she was mad at that time. Just allowing them to evaluate things, evaluate their experiences, evaluating their mindset, evaluating their feelings. Just allowing them to say, okay, what is something that hurt your feelings? What is something that made you sad this year so far? And you don't even understand why it made you sad. What's something that made you cry? What's something that you didn't tell me that you think I should know? Like, what's going on in your mind? Getting that child to open up and to communicate early will teach them how to communicate and open up as an adult, but also teach them who to open up to and how they know it's safe for them to open up to a person. So it's like evaluation time is so important in anybody's life, not just you as an adult. Because think about it. If we had evaluated ourselves growing up and taken the time out to figure out why we think the way we think, why we do the things we do, what are some actions we do? Where did they come from? Why am I this way? Why have I responded to this in this way? And what can I do to change my response? So I feel like if we had done these things growing up, then there would be a lot more healed individuals as an adult in the world today. So I feel like if we get the conversation started early, we teach kids how to evaluate themselves, how to evaluate their feelings, how to evaluate their anger. So that way they can know how to have temperance within themselves. Self-control is what I'm saying. How to control their feelings, how not to put the way they feel about something onto someone else and expect them to have the same feelings. No, how do you feel about it? And is there a thing you should change about the way you feel? Do you think you're justified in the way that you feel? And why is that? Basically asking those questions that are open-ended. That's what evaluation is about. It's not about yes or no. Did you enjoy this school year? Yes. Did you like what we did last year? Yes. No, it's what did we do last year and how did it make you feel? And what way could we do things to make it better? So that allows them to be able to see that life is not just about yes or no. Sometimes you have to have those moments where you have to discuss the way you feel, men and women, boys and girls, because everybody's feelings is important. Everybody's outlook is important. It may not be relevant, but it is the way that they feel. It is the way that they think. And sometimes we have to go back to the drawing board and figure out, where did these feelings come from? Where did these things, these thoughts come from? Where did this behavior come from? And if it came from nowhere, then we got to figure out how we can stop it if it's a bad behavior. And if it's a good behavior, then we got to figure out how to keep it going, and how to pass it down. So I do feel like, having that moment with yourself and having that moment with other people, is a really, really good thing. If you have been going through so much to the point where, you haven't really been feeling yourself and you haven't been able to deliver on many things, evaluate that, and understand that sometimes that evaluation will help you to be more at peace with not being able to rise to everybody else's occasion. Because at this moment, you have to show up for yourself. And I think that's one of the things that I had to learn. I had to shut myself down for a little while. And I had to go back to the drawing board for myself. And I had to say, Bev, you can't be there for everybody right now, because you got to be there for you. Why is that, Bev? Why can't you be there for anybody else? Because everybody else can take care of themselves right now. You have to take care of you. Because if you don't take care of you, you're going to regret it. So I had to set boundaries. I had to change my approach. I had to step back. I had to reevaluate the way that I thought, the way that I felt about my own behavior. Like, what are they going to think if I can't be there for them? Doesn't even matter. Good morning, Sister Dawanika. She said, yes, specific feedback is important. Yes, it is. And Sister Shalom says, yes, that's true. Let me make sure I'm putting these comments up. I get so used to reading them. Oh, hold on. Got to level my computer down. But that's why I'm saying, like, even us kids, like, sitting down with our parents and saying, hey, how did I do as a child this year? What could I do better for you? What is something that you think I need to do to make you feel more respected and loved? That's a good thought. Mom and dad, I'm here. What more can I do? What more can I do? I may not have much to give as far as financially, or I may have a lot of financial, but I may not be able to give much in this area. Just letting them know what you can do. And then on top of that, asking them what else can you do for them, and then seeing out of those things what you can contribute, and say, okay, well, I can help you in this, but I'm really not good in that area, but I can help you in this area. Just let them know that they're important too. It's not just the children that are important. It is the parents, because they're still a human as well, and they're still living and existing as well, and surviving as well. And there's so much more we can do for people. But there are times when we do have to step back and just do for ourselves, because that's our season. There's a harvest season, there's a planting season, there's a growing season, and there's a season that harvest is okay, now it's time for me to pick up everything that I've grown. But there are times when you do have to start over, and you got to plant seeds. And sometimes the seeds that you're planting is not in the lives of others. Sometimes you got to plant the seeds in your own life. Sometimes you got to take a step back and water your own garden, because you're so busy watering everybody else's garden. You're so busy, helping everybody else in their harvest season. You're so busy throwing, some shade over something that needs to have shade in somebody else's yard, where there are times when you look back at your yard, you're like, I need to prune them trees. I need to cut off some stuff that needs to be cut off. Okay, well, all right. Then you can go back to helping other people. There are times when you're going to have to take a step back, and there are times when you're going to fully be in full mode to give while you're giving to yourself. You're going to be able to do both. And I find myself in that season sometimes. And then there are times when I find myself in the season where I have to take a step back. And but I think the years in my 30s, when I was in my 20s, man, I feel like I had everything to give. I felt like I really had everything to give to everybody, to anybody at any given time. But when I crossed over into my 30s, I find myself selectively giving. And what I mean by that, I'm selecting the certain times that I'm able to give. And I didn't realize I was creating boundaries, but I think life was making me create boundaries. And then experiences made me create boundaries even more recently. So I realized that there is a time to give and a time to receive. But if you always find yourself in a receiving bin, you're never giving to anybody. And I'm not just talking about tangible things. I'm talking about maybe a checkup every now and then. Hey, how you doing? You doing all right? I'm just checking on you, letting you know I love you, and I'm praying for you. That's a simple check-in. That's a simple gift to someone because somebody may have been on their last leg, may feel like nobody cared, but your text message made them feel like, man, somebody does care. Thank you. Paying it forward. You go to a drive-through. You just got something from Bojangles, and somebody order behind you is $15. Okay, you may have it. I'll pay for that order too. Huh? I'll pay for the order behind me. Just so I've done that before, not trying to pat myself on the back, but those are certain things you can do. Paying for somebody's meal that comes behind you. There are things that we can do for other people that some may say, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, that's them. But there are things we can do for other people, and we don't have to share it. We shouldn't have to share it. That's between them if they want to share it. But I'm the type of person where don't let nobody know I'm doing this for you. Don't be putting people all in my business. They ain't got to know what I'm doing. Like I don't like that. I don't like, and I'm not talking about somebody want to say oh yeah, Sister Bell, her show has really helped me. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But if I'm doing something where let's say you don't have much, or you're without a shirt on your back, and I buy you some clothes, or I don't want to broadcast that, and I don't want nobody knowing that. That's nobody's business to me. I like to do things very discreetly. And if I, tell anybody else, it's because I want them to be in on it with me. If I ask that person, hey, I want to know if I ask certain such and such, if they can help, is that okay? I'm not going to mention your name unless I say they can help me. Things like that. So you want to be able to extend a helping hand without somebody else knowing what it is that you're doing. And I think it's kind of weird that people will, create videos of them helping somebody else and helping a homeless person. There's nothing wrong with, but how they know that person wants somebody to know that they're down on their luck and they want somebody to buy them something. Like, I just feel like sometimes that's an invasion of privacy. And if you're going to help somebody, you shouldn't necessarily have to broadcast it all over the world that you're helping them. I think that's not something that needs to be done. Sister Dominica said, OMG, yes to everything. There is a season. I forget that often. Honey, it's easy for anybody to forget that. There's definitely a season to help, and there's a season to be helped. And I think that's where pride is eliminated, because we have to know when it's time to be helped. And we also have to know when it's time to help. And I think when we get that, because a lot of people can help and not want to be helped, or they want to be helped, but they don't want to ask for it. And I understand. I mean, I find myself, I like to do stuff on my own. Everybody knows me personally. No, I'm an independent worker. This is what I do for me. And if I have to ask anybody for anything, you best believe I done cried, I done prayed, and asked God to help me 1,000 times, if not more, before I asked anybody to help me. But I had to learn that I had to receive help, so that I wouldn't be prideful, because that's still wrong too. And that can destroy you, because you can really need help and not ask, and you can mess yourself up. I know, right? Like, the video is not necessary. Keep the phone at home. Exactly. Or in your car, in your purse, or in your pocket. For those that want to broadcast what they're doing. But there is a time for everything. There's a time to reach your goals. There's a time to set your goals. There's a time to reevaluate your goals. There's a time to modify your goals. There's a time to modify who you are as a person. Have goals for yourself. Ask your kids what type of person you want to be. See what they think is important. And this evaluation time, evaluate what type of person you want to be. You may say, I am the person I want to be. Yeah, but you don't want to get better in nothing. There's always room for growth. And if you don't see that there's room for growth, or that you can be better in something, you're getting complacent. You don't want to change anymore. You want to just be who you are and expect people to accept that. No, thank you. You shouldn't even accept that. Where do you want to be at the end of this year as a person? Where do you want to be in your business? Where do you want to be on your job? Where do you want to be in your spiritual life by the end of this year? Use reevaluation time to figure that out. Use the time now to figure that out. How much money you want to have saved by the end of the year. Set those goals. Something I'm using on my wallpaper right now is focus on yourself. Don't get lost in other people. Exactly. Don't get lost in other people. Focus on you. What do you need to do? And as people come along, you'll be able to help them. They'll be able to help you. But it has to be the right people to help you. Just like you got to be the right person to help them because you want good help. Anybody could just help, but it's going to be good help. Is it going to be the right help? Far from the person I want to be. Pray for me, y'all. Listen, nobody's here to be a judge. I'm definitely working on the person that I want to be and the person that I am. And to be honest, we all got room to grow. So listen, you can be that woman that you want to be. Take those steps and show yourself grace. Show yourself grace. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. This is where I am. This is where I'm trying to be. What can I do to get there? And never, ever be afraid to take those steps. 100 million. That's what you want to say. Girl, listen, let me hold something. Let me hold something now. You get 100 million now. Don't forget about little old me. Don't forget about me. Sis said, absolutely. So literally, like, let me see. Yes, wow. Yes, while you have breath, there's always room for improvement. Exactly. There's always room for improvement. Good morning to those that have just came in. I'm slowly getting ready to wrap up, but I'm grateful that you all have joined me on this day. But I really understand that, you have to take the time to reevaluate yourself. Create space where there's not enough space, but show grace to yourself. Show grace to other people. Be kind to people. Everybody's dealing with something. Everybody's dealing with something. And as you think about just where you are and where you're trying to go in every aspect of your world, understand that somebody else is trying to figure life out too. You may get burned along the way by other people who are trying to figure it out. You may burn somebody while you're trying to figure it out. Show yourself grace even if they don't. Show them grace. We all got a battle we face every single day, whether it's in our minds, our hearts, our physical labor that we do, finances, spiritually, we have a battle every day. That don't stop. Life doesn't stop. But you can take the time to check out, see where you at, see where you're trying to go, and make those necessary steps and changes. So mid-year evaluations is on for me. I don't know about y'all, but it's on for me. And I'm going to evaluate myself. God be my helper. Be brutally honest with myself because I know there are things that I can do much, much better. And I don't have to have anybody tell me, but I can see it for myself. And if you need help with anything and you know someone that seems to be strong in that area, how you figure it out is by asking the right questions and finding yourself asking for help to the right people. So never be afraid to ask for help in any aspect of life. And she said, okay, it's on for me too. We got this. Exactly. Never be afraid to ask for help in any aspect of your life, but at the same time, never be afraid to receive help in any aspect in your life. And good help, that is. And you'll know when it's good help because it'll work. It'll work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, that's not the help you needed. That's okay too. Go back to the drawing board. Start working on it again. So I have plans today. So I did not plan to be on long today. I can't even believe I've been on 50 minutes. But I'm grateful for you all for watching my show. I thank y'all for tuning in every single week. For those that tune in, I know I'm not consistently every single week because sometimes I do have to take breaks myself. But I just want to say that I love y'all. I appreciate you. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate you taking the time out to even listen to little old me. But again, this is the Fly with Bev show, all about butterfly mentality. We go through many caterpillar struggles, but we have to think better than our circumstances in order to find ourselves coming out of our circumstances. So who wants to walk around in the dark for the rest of their lives? Think about it. When you're in the dark at night, your eyes adjust, right? So that you can still see what's going on. That's how you want to be able to feel in the life that you're living every single day. It may be dark, but I have to adjust to still be able to see everything the way it is, even though it's dark. And eventually what happened? The light comes right back on, right? So give yourself grace, give grace to other people, love yourself, love other people, be kind to people. Life is not always as bad as it seems. And when you get overwhelmed, find yourself checking out, evaluate yourself. You can do a quarterly evaluation. It's all up to you. But this is your life. No one can tell you how to live it other than God. That's how I see it. Now, if you don't believe in God, that's on you. But no one can tell me how to live my life other than God. And He gives me a way to learn that through my pastor and the ministers. And, even sometimes strangers can tell you something that you be like, oh, I won't even think about it like that. So never limit yourself to the help you can receive. So evaluate yourself. Can't wait to see. Oh, yeah, I can't wait to see you either, sis. I got to get my hug. But and Sister Rochelle, she says yes. And Sister Shalom, it's so good to see y'all from different countries. I love it. Okay. Share this video, you guys. Share it on your Facebook pages. Share it on your Instagram, whatever it is. Please do not hesitate to share my videos. Okay. I really appreciate you all. And I want to be able to reach and help as many people as possible. So stay tuned for the next one. And Lord willing, I will see y'all on the next live. I'm going to sing my song. Then I'm going to head on out to enjoy the rest of my weekend. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you. Oh, may God be with you till we meet again. Bye. Have a good weekend, y'all. Love y'all. Bye.